How did I go from biomedical engineering to branding? I've always been a storyteller, but somewhere I think in my third year, I got to that point where I had to make a decision, what my life post college would look like. And it didn't really look a lot like biomedical. My last big pocket money, I got a camera, and I went into media. From there, I was telling stories.
Ngage Media, sort of like, where that name come from? Why did you choose that name? What's behind?
Okay, I think this is the first time I'm going to answer that question.
Wow.
How did I come up with the naming? I started photography, and then I did a little bit of videography. Trust me, I was terrible. I was extremely terrible. So I remember one of the interviews I went for, the medical director told me, how much do you think you should earn? And I told her how much I would have earned if I was back in Ghana. And then she told me she's not earning up to that. And then she sighed and told me, my son, I advise you, if this is what you want to earn, go and start a business. She said it in passing,
Wow.
but it just is for any business that wants to start. Actually, the two first things that you consider that should even build a business for you is marketing, and then afterwards branding.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Victor Podcast. I'm so excited to have you guys back. And today, as I told you, we're going to have some powerful guests from right across the world. I've looked forward to this time, and I'm always excited to have a wonderful conversation with Wisdom. His name is Wisdom, and he's a man full of wisdom too. So I think it's not just a name. So Wisdom Ating is a seasoned media consultant and brand strategist with a wealth of experience. He has a wealth of experience in brand positioning and marketing over the years. I'm sure you're watching this now and wondering, oh, I love this brand. I love what I can see behind you. It was his company that organized my brand for me, and the beautiful background you can see behind me was all done by his company. So this is just a bit of what you guys could get from him. And Wisdom has helped multiple businesses solve their problems, achieving undeniable feats in the communications industry. Wisdom founded Ngage Media Global, a thriving communications and advertising agency in Abuja, and has served several renowned organizations across different sectors in Africa, including the African Union and the United Nations, and in the UK, because I live in the UK and they did my brand for me. So yes, they're global. So wherever you are, yes, they've been there. And he holds a degree in biomedical engineering. Now I'm going to stop there. He holds a degree in biomedical engineering from Kwame Nkrumah University in Ghana. Now, we just mentioned he did my branding, so he's into branding. And then now I'm telling you guys, he's has a degree in biomedical engineering. Now, I have to stop there because I cannot ignore that fact. Wisdom, tell us, where did this start from, and how did we go from, biomedical engineering into branding? I do not see where they cross paths. So please, where do you all start from?
So it's quite amazing that, first of all, thank you for inviting me here, Mr. Victor. I really appreciate. How did I go from biomedical engineering to branding? I've always been a storyteller for most of my life, right? I've always wanted to help people, but the plot twist was that I planned to study medicine, and I actually got admitted to study medicine in Crimea State University in Ukraine. But I didn't get the visa. So I applied to Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and I studied biomedical engineering. But somewhere, I think in my third year, I got to that point where I had to make a decision, what my life post-college would look like. And it didn't really look a lot like biomedical engineering. It wasn't looking like it. I mean, I was a good student, I was one of the best in my class, but it just didn't make sense, So with my last big pocket money, I got a camera, and I went into media. And from there, I was telling stories. Then I decided, how about we tell stories for businesses that will help position them better in the marketplace and help them make money. So I started branding.
Wow. I absolutely love the way the journey has gone. You see, and I love the fact where you said in year 3, you looked at your life and said, how does it look like when I finish from here? What do I want to see myself in the future? And that's a power of vision. And so somebody watching here now, you might be sort of thinking, oh, I'm winning university, it doesn't really matter. But you know what, when I look back at my life, you know, what you just said now was loads of wisdom. Because when I look back at my life and my university days, I can sort of say how I wish I had that wisdom at that time and looked forward into my life. To the glory of God, I can say I'm in a good place, but I can still look back and be thinking I could have been maybe possibly farther of who I am. But never mind, the good thing is, as I always say, the best time to start is now. So you're watching this thinking, is it too late? No, it's not. The bottom line is having that power of vision, the ability to look ahead. He looked ahead, mapped out his life and said, I don't think this journey is going to get me to where I want to go to. And guess what? He didn't just sit down there and mope about it and get angry about it and begin to worry about it. He decided, you know what, I'm going to do something. Got a camera and started going. Wisdom, that is powerful. And so let's write it now. So you got a camera, you started. So the difference between, some might think, okay, fine, you're a photographer. But then you went into branding. So tell us, how did you go from there till the way you formed Ngage Media? And Ngage Media, I would sort of like, where did that name come from? Why did you choose that name? What's behind?
Okay, I think this is the first time I'm going to answer that question.
Wow.
How did I come up with the name Ngage? All right, so I started off as a photographer. But like I said, I've always been a storyteller, and branding and marketing is largely about storytelling, you know, with respect to different touch points. So I started photography, and then I did a little bit of videography. Trust me, I was terrible. I was extremely terrible, you know. But I noticed I had this keen interest in business. I've always wanted to be a business person, do something for business people. So I started my own, my first business when I got back to Nigeria. Obviously, I tried to get a job as a biomedical engineer, but as at then, Nigeria didn't really understand what biomedical engineering was.
Yeah.
They understood it as biotechnologist, and it's different, right? So I remember one of the interviews I went for, the medical director told me, how much do you think you should earn? And I told her how much I would have earned if I was back in Ghana. And then she told me she's not earning up to that. And then she sighed and told me, my son, I advise you, if this is what you want to earn, go and start a business. She said it in passing, you know, but it just is stuck, you know. So I started my first business, PC's Barbecue. So, I mean, it just didn't make sense, especially to my parents, you know. You came back from school, they paid a lot of dollars, you know, for you to study, and then you say you want to, in simple terms, if you're a Nigerian, you want to roast ball, you know, and chicken. It didn't make sense, but I knew I wanted to learn. So through that business, I learned perseverance. The business sort of failed in the second year, largely because the elements of the business, my sisters who were my partners went on to school and all that. But I learned perseverance. I learned how to take risks. In that process, I fell in love with branding because the little things like, oh, let's get packaging for my bole. Let's get, you know, a nice name for the business, which is Pieces Barbecue. So the fact that we are going to Pieces Chicken for you, right? We named the business Pieces. And those tiny little things made people pay premium on the service, right? So the normal woman across the road will sell her same bole for 50 naira, 100 naira. But I'll sell you mine for 200, 300, 400. And people were buying, you know, and then we went on to, oh, when you come, we'll package with, you know, the serviettes and everything. We'll put a little note to thank you for buying from us. And we dressed properly. We spoke good English. So I just saw that, wow, this is quite powerful. How about many more businesses do this, you know, embed this into their systems? Will they help them make more money? Then Ngage Media happened.
Wow.
Right. So we started, okay, let's do this for businesses. And we started off from social media. But we also saw that without proper branding, social media activities will not be successful. So now we're branding. And several brands after, we are still learning, we are still growing.
Yeah. I love the story here, and I think you more or less just dipped into my next question. In as much as the Pieces barbecue didn't work at that time, I love the fact that you specified all the things you learned from it. As in branding is such an amazing thing. As in, even just yesterday, I was telling my boys, I was like, it's crazy how you can price something differently just because of the brand. And as you just said, all it takes is a bit service, dress a bit nicer, put in a nice bag, and then you can put the price up. And it's just so powerful and it just sort of shows how important it is. But what really caught my attention to is when you said it didn't work, but you took the lessons. Sometimes when things don't work, instead of us to take the lessons and move on, we sit down and mope about the things that stopped you from working and throwing that blame around from left to right. But it's the lessons you took from the business that didn't work is what has helped you to build another one. So I think there's so much to take away from that, because somebody listening today might be thinking, oh, I think I tried business before, it didn't work, so I'm just going to leave it there. But I think it's time for you to begin to refocus, change and shift the perspective. Okay, what are the things I have learned from this that didn't work that I can now, and those things I need to drop off and take away from this, I can move forward and do something else. That is powerful, and thank you so much. So for someone who is starting off newly, at what point do they need to, because obviously people might look at branding and say, oh, it's expensive, I can't afford to pay an agency, I can't afford to do it. At what point should they start saying, okay, I know I'm doing something now? Let's say someone who started a bole business, as you said. I'm by the roadside, I've got a table, I'm roasting, for those who are not from Nigeria, bole is roasted plantain. Plantain looks like banana, but like a bigger size of it, which is roasted mainly. And it's a very nice delicacy. He's eating with either with granuts, and it's lovely. Don't worry, guys. If you live in any country that has an African restaurant, maybe just give it a shot. You'll definitely love it.
Oh, the cool thing about what we did was that different from the granuts that everybody knew, we created a special recipe that was made with pepper and sauce and marinated chicken. It was interesting,
Now I'm getting hungry on a podcast. Can you imagine? Yeah. You see, that's absolutely powerful. You see, so at what stage does someone begin to think of branding? So I'm starting off today. I'm thinking, okay, I started off. At what stage, how far does the business have to go? Do you have to think of the brand first before you start the business, or do you just start and then now begin to shape it into a brand?
All right. So I think that a lot of people, especially businesses, are under the misconception that branding is an activity that happens post creation or post production, right? That is wrong. I think that for any business that wants to start, actually the two first things that you consider that should even build a business for you is marketing, and then afterwards branding. So marketing would determine what product you are going to create, for whom you are going to create it, at what price you are going to offer it, and then the messages that you are going to use to promote it, right? That's marketing. 4 basic things: products, price, place, and promotion.
Yeah.
Great. Now, where does branding come in? The whole essence of branding is to make an impression in the mind of someone, in the mind of a consumer or a customer, such that they can become your evangelist, your brand evangelist. So for instance, when you assuming you came to Pieces, right? And then you saw that I greeted you. Hi, Mr. Victor, welcome to Pieces Barbecue. Would you like some chicken to go with your plantain, or would you just like? That has created an impression in the mind of that customer. Now, imagine if we didn't start that at the beginning of the business. We wouldn't have been able to charge premium, because people would already have been used to us as the next alternative to the lady down the road. But because we came out with all these things, people saw that, oh, these guys are different, right? And then it captured their heart. We're able to stimulate acceptance from that. So I think that when you are thinking about, when you've identified a need and you are thinking of building a business, branding should start already in that process. And let's not always think that branding is expensive logo, website, and all that. All that is important, but actually that's just one aspect of branding, which is visual identity or verbal identity, depending. But your brand strategy, for instance, states the essence of your business. or your service. Why are you doing that? It needs to be clear. So if I understand why I'm doing that, for instance, the Victor, when we were developing the brand, we understood the segment that he was catering for. Hence, he's doing this podcast because he understands the segment, right? If he didn't know that, he probably would be doing like other people in this industry, Monday motivations alone. And it might not have a lot of impact, right? So I think that branding should, an understanding of branding should be part of the formative steps in every business. It shouldn't come later. Even though if you start a business without branding, it's not a problem, right? Because every business has a brand. Whether you establish it or not, there's a brand. There's a perception in the minds of people about that business, good or bad. But there's something called brand positioning or brand repositioning. So at the point where you feel like, okay, it's time, you can now reposition the brand. So you influence the perception of the brand to fit what you wish, and it will be in accordance with the goals or objectives that you have set. So,
wow,
I don't want to turn this into a lecture.
That's a whole university course we've just done now. Because I take something powerful away from that, because obviously we're talking about small wins and big victories. And as I said, somebody who started small be worried about having money to pay for logo, website, brands, and everything else.
Yeah.
Now we have social media that is free. So obviously you have a platform already which you can start with for free anyway. And I love what you said, because if right from the beginning you begin to position yourself, and then you can still rebrand later as it goes on. Because we know so many organizations in this world that have rebranded. Even Coke has rebranded before. Apple has rebranded.
Yeah.
You know, almost
multiple times.
Exactly. In fact, yesterday I was driving behind a Citroen and I looked at the logo and I thought to myself, that's not the Citroen logo we know before.
That's changed. Yeah.
Change the logo. So you see, so if you look at all these things, you can see companies have actually rebranded. But we worry and we hold back and don't start because we're concerned that we haven't got the brand right at the beginning. But I love what you said, because you said it's about the perception. So all you have to do is to get the perception, what people think and feel about you right from the beginning. Once you've done that, they know you based on that, and then you can just continue from there. So I think that is just super powerful. And you're dropping powerful nuggets, and I'm just so blown away. So as we begin to land now, I know you call your Ngage Media, you call them troopers. And I've walked to you guys, and I can see how you guys walk as one family. When I look to your social media, I see everything going on. You guys are like one family. And one of the biggest problems people face, because there are some starting points in which you need a partner to work. When you need someone, sometimes you can move faster when you go with somebody else. But some of the biggest issues we face is the trouble of how to find the right people. So maybe just very quickly, just tell us, how did you find these wonderful bunch? Is it that they were just the way they are, or you found them and you guys molded them into the culture, or just how did you create the wonderful bunch?
Great. So Ngage Media has had at least 3 cohorts of people. And first of all, to a business leader listening to me, the people in your organization are a very huge part of your branding process, right? Because the people also are a touch point. So if you run into a trooper of Ngage, outside Ngage, speaking with them, it is going to create an impression on your mind about Ngage Media, right? So it's important. Now, how did we get these people? Ngage Media started with myself and 2 of my friends, who then went on to become my partners, but life happened and they moved on to do other things. And then I took the first cohort of employees, and then there's something called culture marketing. So your marketing is not only external, your marketing is also internal. So people within the organization have to internalize your processes, your concepts, and make it theirs. So we did that. Obviously, you get some, you lose some. So there are people, but there were mistakes that we made. We didn't pay attention to a lot of things because we had not grown as much as we have now. But when we took the 3rd cohort, which are the troopers now, we did things averagely right. We checked the right, personality is key for us. We checked for leadership. We checked for all the values that are important to us and as an organization. And then we hired based on that. But when they came in, they didn't have any idea about the organization. Then we rinse and repeat our culture marketing process. So we came up with the name, the troopers. So because we are known, we like to brag for solving complex business problems, right?
Wow.
Which ties into our vision. So it just made sense to call them a troop, because a troop is sent to the battlefield when it's tough,
exactly.
Right? And everything around that is built. Now, there's also something very funny about how our team was built. So I'm a Christian, right? And I'm a believer.
Yeah.
And the vision for Ngage Media came in my third year, like I said, on Thursday evening in church. So I opened the book of Genesis, chapter 12, verse 1 to 3. Yeah. And I'll just paraphrase. It reads that, God said to Abraham, leave your father's house and go to the land I'll show you, and I'll make your name great and all that. So that's our anchor scripture, right? Yeah. And it's coincidental that everybody that works in Ngage Media isn't in their primary place of residence. So they are immigrants. They are looking for greener pastures in, like Mr. Victor said, in Abuja. So that even holds us together. Wow. So we become our next family since our primary family is not physically available. Yeah. And it still falls back to Grammy. So the way we work with our clients, we go on to become friends and family, because that's just our culture. Exactly. Right. So I don't know if I've answered the question.
No, you have answered it, and you know what, you've answered it so powerfully. And so I'm going to wrap up now with a final question now. Talking about Nigeria, where you're based, everybody has a different impression or expression or perspective or whatever of Nigeria. And sometimes it's just about the way, because of the Nigerians they met, maybe possibly the wrong ones or the right ones, whichever way it goes anyway. We know things that have happened in Nigeria over the years. We know how much the young people have been struggling trying to raise their heads above water, but you've managed to keep a business and to keep it going. Because as I said, some of my audience are in Nigeria, or it could be any part of the world, and they might have this kind of obstacles, different kinds of obstacles. And so, so they have different kinds of obstacles. Yeah. So how have you been able to overcome these obstacles of being able to keep your head above water and still run this business, even being in the complex society that we find ourselves in Nigeria?
Great. Thank you. The way that I would take credit for it, I think is largely, this might sound stereotype or cliche, but it's God. And then secondly, remember I said when I was running Pieces Barbecue business, I learned perseverance because it was extremely tough. Yeah. Prior to that time, I didn't know how to cook. I didn't have any culinary skills. Nothing. I didn't even know how to light the coal that we used to grill. Yeah. I had to learn everything from scratch. So because of that, I learned perseverance. And the truth is, doing business in this part of the world is not easy. Exactly. But I wake up every day knowing that before I got here, it was extremely hard. See, if I'm here and tomorrow is looking hard, it means I'll also get somewhere that I'll look back at today and smile. And that just keeps me going. It just keeps me going.
Wow. Well, I love that. I love that. The fact that I'm here and it was extremely hard, that means I can keep going knowing that tomorrow could be hard too. But so you're going to take that one step. So those small steps, big victories. So you've taken one small step, you celebrate a big victory, you just carry on going for the next step and another big victory. Wow. Wisdom, you are a superstar. Thank you so much for your time. You know what? I've learned so much about branding. As in, I'm just sitting down thinking, me personally, I have to listen to this podcast like 3, 4, or 5 times. And I'm just so I think it's so powerful. And I think you truly poured out your heart. You've blessed everyone who's been on this today. And I think anyone listening to this today, there's no reason why they will not want to take a step. So for me, I think this is a powerful call to action. There's really no excuse you can throw because you've practically shown, that it is possible. You've shown that the little steps. You started to Pieces Barbecue. You didn't even know how to cook. You just conceived the idea, I'll just go with it. And it wasn't really where you were meant to be because you were a storyteller anyway, but you're barbecuing. But you see, carried on because it was only a part of the journey to where you were actually trying to get yourself to. And today, if you
look at it, sorry to interrupt you,
go ahead.
If you look at it critically, right? I was still telling stories while doing the barbecue.
Exactly.
Because when I write notes about, I know you had a hard day or a tough day, thank you for patronizing us.
Wow.
It's storytelling.
Yeah, it is.
Right. I was telling a story about how better customer service in that industry could be.
Yeah.
Because the lady down the road was not doing it.
No.
So it was also storytelling. So I think to somebody that is wondering like, oh yeah, because trust me, I've been here. We're just going to keep saying he has access to Victor Tafa. He has money. He has connection. The truth is, I've known Mr. Victor for maybe a year and a half now.
And we've not met yet. Barely. I'm still looking forward to that day.
We've not met yet. Everything we've done is virtual.
Yeah.
The truth to it is, if you don't have anything to do, Mr. Victor mentioned Instagram. Go on Instagram every day and tell people that you don't know how to cook, but you want to be a cook. And show them your process from day one to when you become a culinary star. And see if you will not get business.
You will. Wow. You see, guys, I told you guys, you see, in Nigeria, we call this jara. You know, when you go to the market, something, then you say, come on, jara. So you put a bit more in there. So that's what Wisdom are just giving us now. And that jara is just so powerful. Wisdom, thank you so much for your time. I really
thank you so much, sir.
And I know you're a very busy man, but I've managed to take your time, as in for you to come up and bless us today. So I appreciate you so much. Thank you. And everybody, thank you for watching this. I look forward to seeing you guys soon on the next podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, turn on notifications and make sure you catch the next one when it comes up. So at least you will know when it comes up. Remember to subscribe to the channel because I have a lot more for you guys out there. So everyone, stay blessed and I love you all.